fog hits first. Cold, damp, alive. It curls around your ankles like a curious cat, tasting the air for something unfamiliar. Gas lamps flicker above you, glowing halos trapped in the mist. And somewhere in the distance, a carriage wheel clatters over cobblestone. The sound echoes in a rhythm you don't recognize. Not quite modern, not quite ancient. You blink once, then twice. The air smells of coal, wet stone, and something metallic, something burning slow. You're lying on the ground, one hand clutching at a slick puddle that reflects a sepia sky. You have no memory of how you got here. The last thing you recall is scrolling through your phone before bed. A late-night rabbit hole about Victorian inventions and unsolved mysteries. You even remember joking. If I lived back then, I'd totally mess up history. Cute. Real cute. Because right now, that seems less like a joke and more like a confession. You push yourself up, coat heavy with moisture. There's weight in your pocket. Not your phone, not your keys. Something round and humming, a heartbeat trapped in brass. You pull it out. A pocket watch, polished to a mirror finish, engraved with the faintest swirl of numbers spiraling toward infinity. The hands twitch backward for a moment, then stop dead at 12:01. You laugh under your breath. Nervous, shaky. Yeah, sure, this is fine. You probably won't survive this, you mutter, because honestly, you've seen enough movies to know where this goes. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Oh, and while you're at it, drop your location and local time in the comments. I just want to know which century you're watching from. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You start walking. Every footstep feels rehearsed, as if someone else walked this same path before you, only to vanish halfway. Street signs loom from the mist. Fleet Street, Bishopsgate, Cheapside. Names you've only seen in history books. A lamplighter passes you, face hidden beneath a bowler hat, carrying a pole tipped with flame. He doesn't notice you, or maybe he chooses not to. A group of women huddles near a corner shop, gossip swirling with the smoke from their pipes. Their dresses are layered, their laughter brittle. You catch phrases like Her Majesty's secret clock and a man who vanished twice in one lifetime. You think they're just rumors, until one of them turns and stares straight at you. You're late, she says, eyes clouded like storm glass. It's already begun. Before you can ask what she means, a horse snorts nearby, and she's gone, melting into the fog as if erased. Your pulse quickens. Somewhere inside, you still expect the comforting vibration of a phone notification, the tiny tether to modernity. But your pockets are silent, replaced by that humming watch. You glance down again. The hands move now, but backward, counting in reverse. Scholars still argue whether time is linear or cyclical. Standing here, you're not sure there's a difference. A church bell tolls in the distance. 12 deep strikes that shake the ground beneath you. On the last toll, you notice something impossible. Shadows moving against the light, stretching toward the lampposts instead of away from them. The fog ripples like fabric being pulled. You turn down an alley, heartbeat syncing with the ticking in your palm. There's writing on the wall, chalk lines spiraling inward, just like the engraving on your watch. At the center, 3 words. You went back. You freeze. The phrase feels personal. You rub your temples trying to summon logic, but it slips like sand. The more you think, the less the world holds shape. A cat darts across your path, tail puffed like a brush. Its collar tag reads 2025. You blink, and it's gone. Maybe this is a dream. Maybe you fell asleep watching a documentary, or maybe, just maybe, you've fallen through the kind of story that doesn't want to end. You keep walking. The cobblestones are uneven, the air thick with soot. Every few steps, you hear voices that don't belong. A modern accent, a phone ringtone muffled by centuries. You follow the sound to a narrow archway where an old man stands tinkering with gears and springs. His workshop door creaks open, golden light spilling out like warmth from another reality. Lost, are we? He asks without looking up. You hesitate. Something like that. He gestures with an oily hand. Let me guess. You found it. You lift the pocket watch slightly. He sighs, setting down a tiny wrench. Of course you did. They always do. He motions you inside. The shop smells of brass and tea leaves. Machines line the walls, clocks, telescopes, contraptions that defy description. One mechanism hums softly, its gears turning in opposite directions, defying every rule of physics you remember from high school. He takes the watch from you with trembling fingers. Do you know what this is? A timepiece, you say. He chuckles, dry as parchment. A time trap. It doesn't measure seconds. It eats them. You stare, trying to process that. Eats them? He nods. Each time you look at it, you lose a moment, a heartbeat, a breath, a memory. That's how it keeps you here. The more you check it, the more you belong. For a second, you almost laugh. That's ridiculous. Is it? He tilts his head. Do you remember your name? The silence that follows is heavier than any fog. You open your mouth, and nothing comes. Just emptiness. A hollow space where your name should live. The old man sighs. See? Already gone. He pours tea into mismatched cups. The liquid is amber, steaming. You take a cautious sip, bitter and floral, with an aftertaste of iron. Who are you? You finally manage. Just a repairman, he says, but once I was a traveler like you. I tried to fix time itself. Did it work? He shakes his head slowly. If it had, we wouldn't be having this conversation. He opens a small drawer and pulls out an identical watch, except its hands move forward. That one sends you backward. This one brings you back. But neither knows where home is anymore. Your mind swirls. The workshop hums louder, like a living thing. Gears spin on their own, clock hands reversing mid-tick. You glance at the shelves and notice a line of jars, each labeled with a year, 1889, 1901, 2073. Inside every jar, something faint glows. Strands of light, like bottled lightning. What's in those? Seconds, he replies. Stolen moments, regrets. Sometimes laughter. You touch the nearest jar and feel warmth, as if someone's memory pressed against your palm. It's strangely comforting, like holding a heartbeat that isn't yours. A thought creeps in. What if one of those jars holds your missing moments? You look back at the old man, but he's watching you carefully. Don't open them, he warns. Every second you take back changes 1,000 futures. You nod, stepping away, but curiosity itches under your skin. That's when the watch in your pocket buzzes. Not ticks, buzzes like a phone vibration from another century. You pull it out again. The glass face ripples, showing a reflection that isn't yours. A version of you dressed in Victorian fashion, hair slicked, eyes tired. The reflection mouths words silently. Run. The lamp outside explodes with a pop, showering sparks through the fog. The old man curses and rushes to the window. You feel the air shift, colder, heavier. Then you hear them. The footsteps. Not one pair, but dozens marching in perfect rhythm. Dark silhouettes move through the mist, lanterns swinging, shadows twisting behind them. The agents, the old man whispers. They've found you. Agents of what? Of when, he replies grimly. They guard the flow of time. Anyone who interferes, he doesn't finish. The door bursts open. Figures in long coats and metallic masks flood the workshop, their lanterns burning with blue fire. Chrono violation detected. One of them rasps. Subject displaced from origin point. The old man steps in front of you. He doesn't understand, but they ignore him. One mask turns toward you, and you see your own reflection distorted in the mirrored surface. A voice, mechanical, genderless, echoes. Return protocol initiated. Before you can move, the old man shoves something into your hand. The forward-moving watch. Find the alley by St. Dunstan's Church, he yells. Run before they collapse the loop. You bolt through the side door into the night. The fog thickens like concrete. You hear the agents shouting, gears whirring, the hiss of gas weapons charging. You sprint past carriages and startled pedestrians. Somewhere above, Big Ben tolls again. But this time, each bell sounds backward, the chime rising instead of falling. You reach St. Dunstan's Alley just as the pocket watch in your hand heats up, branding your palm. You flip it open. The second hand spins violently and the world stutters. Light bending, sound stretching thin glass. For one frozen heartbeat, you see two Londons overlap. One Victorian, one modern, both flickering like film reels in the sink. Neon reflections ripple across horse-drawn carriages. A smartphone moves faintly in the other's hand. Then everything seems silence. The fog has changed, quicker, with a faint scent of ozone. Somewhere behind you, agents are still searching, but ahead, a faint golden glow pulses at the end of the alley. A door, shimmering, waiting. The watch ticks once more, both hands aligned. You take a deep breath, knowing this is only the beginning. The golden glow at the alley's end trembles. You step closer and on to view two. The pocket watch buzzes again, a nervous pulse that feels synced with the heartbeat. The deeper you walk, the stranger the world sounds. Distant voices play back. Carriage wheels rolling, but never touching the ground. When you finally reach the glow, you realize it isn't a doorway at all. It's a tear, a thin slit in the air, light bleeding through. Beyond it, shapes move, but not in real time. Everything lags and speeds like an old film projector. You raise the watch instinctively, and it reacts. The hands jitter. The metal vibrates. For a second, you swear it hums your name. You hesitate. Should you step through? Every instinct screams don't. But curiosity is a stronger master than fear, especially when you're already lost. You reach out, fingertips brushing the tear, and suddenly the world folds. It doesn't feel like moving. It feels like being rewritten. One blink later, you're standing on a bridge. Not stone, steel. The River Thames churns below, darker than ink. You can see faint outlines of buildings that don't belong to any century. Some are Victorian. Others look futuristic. Skyscrapers half dissolved into fog. It's as if time itself gave up deciding what year this should be. You hear music. Faint. Crackling. A violin recording that keeps looping the same bar. A woman's voice hums along, ghostly and familiar. Then you see it. A second watch. It's half buried in the bridge's iron rail, lodged like a bullet. This one's cracked, the face spider-webbed, but it's still ticking. Except the hands aren't moving clockwise or counterclockwise. They're breathing, expanding and shrinking with every second like lungs made of metal. You reach out, fingers trembling, and touch it. The world shivers. You see flashes, brief, chaotic. A Victorian parlor drenched in candlelight. A man in goggles screaming as lightning arcs across a machine. The old repairman from before, younger now, shouting something you can't hear. And finally yourself, running across rooftops under a sky split open by gears. You stumble backward, clutching the cracked watch to your chest. Then a voice whispers behind you. You weren't supposed to find that one. You turn. A woman stands there, tall, wrapped in a crimson coat that flickers between centuries. One moment velvet, the next a synthetic shimmer like hologram fabric. Her eyes are sharp, silver gray, reflecting the faint light from both watches in your hands. You're one of them, you say quietly. The agents. She tilts her head. Not anymore. I was before the collapse. Now I'm something in between. Her accent is Victorian but softened by time, like old lace turned to silk. She walks toward you slowly, boots clicking against the bridge, each sound delayed, echoing twice, one now, one a few seconds later. What collapse? You ask. She smiles faintly. The moment time stopped pretending to be linear, a gust of wind whips her coat around, scattering flecks of golden dust into the fog. Every watch like that, she nods at the cracked one, anchors a version of reality. When one breaks, a century bleeds into another. The agents used to fix it, but too many broke too fast. Now, well, look around. You look, and suddenly you notice it. A clock tower rising from the skyline, bending like it's made of wax. Its hands spin so fast they blur into rings of light. A bell tolls, but the sound comes before the movement. Scholars still argue whether this is the future decaying backward, she says softly, or the past refusing to die. You can't tell if she's joking. The fog parts revealing the faint outline of St. Paul's Cathedral. Except half of it is transparent, flickering. You see carriages passing through walls, birds flying in geometric loops. I don't belong here, you mutter. She gives a dry laugh. Neither does anyone anymore. Time travel isn't a journey. It's a contagion. Once you touch it, it rewrites your cause and effect. She steps closer, eyes narrowing at your pocket. The humming watch. Show me. You hesitate. Why? Because if it's still active, the agents will follow it. They can smell the vibration. You hand it over. She studies it carefully, pressing her ear to the brass. Still synchronized to a loop, she murmurs. Means the source is still open. Somewhere someone's keeping the cycle alive. Who? She shrugs. Could be the inventor. Could be you from another run. Your stomach sinks. Another run? Every traveler leaves echoes, she explains. Each time you try to fix something, you create another version of yourself. They stack. Sometimes they meet. Sometimes they fight. You can't help but laugh nervously. So, what happens if I meet mine? Her eyes darken. You'll find out soon enough. The cracked watch in your hand pulses again, heat spreading up your wrist. You look down. Faint lines of light crawl under your skin, tracing veins like glowing circuitry. What's happening to me? The watches are sinking, she says. The broken one is trying to heal itself through you. Can I stop it? She smirks. Not unless you stop being curious. A flash of lightning cuts across the fog. White, soundless. In the glow for just a moment, you see silhouettes everywhere. Hundreds of versions of you, all walking the bridge in opposite directions. Some vanish mid-step. Others turn their heads, meeting your eyes before dissolving. You stagger back. Are those echoes? She says simply. Every choice you didn't make. Every second you wasted. The bridge trembles beneath you, a deep metallic groan rising from its structure. The woman's form flickers like bad reception. They've found the signal, she hisses. You need to run. Run where? Find the old clock tower. Beneath it, there's a door made of light. If you reach it before the agents close the loop, you can reset your trajectory. What happens if I don't? She glances toward the mist. Blue lanterns flicker there, closing in. Then you become part of the architecture. You don't ask what that means. You just run. Every footfall echoes through centuries. The air splits between eras. 1 second, gaslight and horse hooves. The next, neon and engine roar. Time folds like origami around you, and somewhere in the distortion, you hear the woman's voice again, faint and distant. Remember, don't trust your reflection. You sprint across cobblestones that shift under your feet. The cracked watch in your hand glows brighter, threads of light trailing behind you like comet tails. Buildings blur, signs morph. Apothecary becomes pharmacy. Pharmacy becomes drone repair shop, then back again. The world stutters, then freezes. You stop mid-step. The silence is thick enough to choke on. Ahead of you stands a man, or rather, you. Same face, same eyes, same confusion, except this version of you is older, worn down, eyes hollow. He speaks first. You weren't supposed to make it this far. You can't move. The air buzzes with static. What are you? You manage to whisper. An earlier loop, he says. I tried to fix the collapse once. I failed. Then I became part of it. He lifts his sleeve, revealing the same glowing veins you now have. Every version that survives gets pulled into the timeline's core. That's how it repairs itself, by consuming us. You shake your head. No, there has to be a way back. He smiles, sad, knowing. Back to where? Time doesn't remember where it started. You notice something glinting in his other hand. A third pocket watch, black as obsidian, ticking soundlessly. What's that? The key, he says. The only way to stop the hum. He tosses it toward you. You catch it. And the instant your fingers touch, 1,000 voices scream inside your head. Memories not your own. Every version of you that ever existed flood through your mind. You as a scientist, a thief, a soldier, a storyteller. A million decisions branching like veins of lightning. Then, silence. You look up. The older you is gone. Only the black watch remains in your hand, pulsing softly. And for the first time, all 3 watches, the forward, the backward, and the broken, begin to tick in unison. The fog clears just enough for you to see the outline of the clock tower ahead. The top is missing, torn away like someone tried to rip time itself open. You start walking again, slower. This time, the ticking guiding you like a heartbeat. Every step draws faint golden trails in the air, fading behind you. You can almost feel time breathing around you. Cautious, curious, alive. But something deep inside tells you the hum hasn't just been calling you here. It's been waiting for you. You reach the clock tower just as dawn begins pretending to rise. Though here, dawn is a rumor at best. The sky glows somewhere between bruise purple and copper. The fog doesn't lift. It just thins enough to let the city's shape breathe again. Gas lamps flicker in lazy protest against morning. The hum in your pocket grows steadier. A soft vibration that almost syncs with the pulse in your neck. The streets around the tower look oddly normal now. Vendors setting up stalls. Paperboys shouting headlines that don't make sense. Time crisis deepens, one paper reads. Queen delays tomorrow again. You can't tell if it's satire or prophecy. You approach a cafe tucked under an archway, signs swinging in the breeze. The gentle clockwork. The name feels like an inside joke you're not in on. Inside, the smell of burnt sugar and black tea hits first, rich and grounding. The hum fades a little here, like the air itself is muffled for safety. A waiter with perfect posture and an expression carved from politeness greets you. His voice is smooth as wax. Table for 1, sir, or for now? You nod. For now. He leads you to a window seat. Outside, London moves in slow motion. Carriages crawl. People gesture too fast. The whole world slightly offbeat. The waiter pours tea. Amber as sunlight caught in glass. Steam curls upward, forming faint shapes. Faces maybe, or just tricks of fatigue. You take a sip. It tastes of bergamot and nostalgia. The warmth pulls you down, deep into the present moment. The bell above the cafe door jingles. You glance up. 3 men walk in. Top hats, long coats, gloves. The kind of men whose silence fills space more than sound ever could. One carries a newspaper, one a cane. And the third, you notice, carries a pocket watch much like yours, though his ticks perfectly in rhythm. They take a booth near the back, murmuring low. The waiter bows to them, nervous for the first time. You strain to hear fragments. Loop widens. Containment unstable. The inventor's echo escaped again. The anomaly persists. Human origin confirmed. You sink lower in your chair. The waiter returns to refill your cup, but pauses, eyes darting to the chain peeking from your pocket. His face drains of color. You shouldn't have that here, he whispers. Not with them around. Who are they? You ask. The Chrono Regency, he breathes. Her Majesty's private timekeepers. They erase inconsistencies. Erase. The word lands heavy. You glance back at the men. One of them looks up suddenly, like he heard the thought leave your mind. His gaze locks on you. Calm, clinical. You feel the hum spike again. The cracked watch in your pocket glows faintly through the fabric. The waiter swallows hard. Out the back door, he says quickly. Through the kitchen. There's a lift that doesn't go anywhere. Use it. You don't argue. You stand. Leave coins on the table. Old, tarnished ones that weren't there a moment ago. And slip away. The kitchen smells of yeast and heat. Copper pots rattle slightly on their own, stirred by an invisible draft. You find the lift, an ancient cage of wrought iron, door half open. You step inside, pull the gate shut, and press the only button, down. Though the tower is already ground level. The lift shudders, then drops. There's no sense of distance, only duration. You feel seconds stretching, elongating until each heartbeat becomes a lifetime. Your stomach lurches, your vision tunnels, and when the door creaks open again, the air smells of ozone and candle wax. You step out into a massive hall lit entirely by pocket watches suspended from the ceiling. Hundreds of them swinging slowly, ticking not in sync but in conversation. The sound is hypnotic, like rainfall but sharper. At the far end stands a figure in a lab coat. Young, disheveled, wild hair sticking out like static. He's muttering to himself, drawing equations across glass walls with a quill that burns blue ink. You clear your throat softly. Excuse me? He spins, eyes wide, grin even wider. Ah, another traveler. Or the same one again? You blink. What? He waves the question away. Never mind. You made it here. That's what matters. Did the watch call you? You nod slowly. Then it works, he cries, slamming his palms together. At least in this iteration. You hesitate. You're the inventor, aren't you? He bows theatrically. In one version, yes. In another, I'm the reason none of this exists. He gestures for you to follow him deeper into the hall. Machines line the walls. Gears the size of tables, hourglasses filled with lightning instead of sand. Mirrors showing reflections that blink out of rhythm. He stops before a large contraption, a temporal engine. It hums with the same low vibration as your watch. This, he says, was supposed to control time. Instead, it convinced time it didn't need controlling. Meaning? Meaning it started making its own decisions. He walks around it, tightening valves, adjusting knobs. Every traveler, every you, creates ripples. I tried to contain them, but every time I did, another version of you appeared earlier, trying to stop me. So I stopped fighting it. I built the watches instead. Why me? You ask quietly. He looks at you for a long moment. Because you were the first to survive. You swallow hard. Survive what? The collapse, he says softly. The moment time folded back on itself and forgot which way was forward. He points to your wrist. See that glow? It means the timeline still recognizes you as a variable, which means you can still change it. Change what? Everything. The hall flickers suddenly. The light from the hanging watches dims. Somewhere above, a bell tolls 12 times. Too fast, too frantic. The inventor curses under his breath. They've found us. Who? The agents, he says. And if they reach the core, the loop resets. He rushes to a console, slamming buttons. There's a maintenance shaft behind the main gear. It'll take you to the surface. Back to the real London if that still exists. You don't move. Come with me. He laughs bitterly. I can't. My echo's already in the next loop. This version ends here. The hum grows deafening. You can feel the watches vibrating in the air, all ticking faster now. Desperate. He grabs your arm suddenly. Remember this, time doesn't heal, it reuses. Whatever happens next, don't let it choose for you. You nod, heart hammering. What happens if I fail? He gives a crooked smile. You'll just have to live it again. You sprint toward the back of the hall. The air shimmers. Heat or timeline distortion, you can't tell. The maintenance shaft is barely wide enough to squeeze through, but you climb. Metal rungs biting into your palms. Halfway up, you hear shouting below. The agents, their blue lanterns burning brighter than ever. The inventor's voice echoes one last time. Remember, seconds are currency. Spend them wisely. Then a blast of light erupts, shaking the entire chamber. You keep climbing, faster, until your muscles scream. The shaft opens into another room, a clockwork maze of moving gears, massive as train wheels. Steam hisses from pipes overhead. You leap across one spinning gear to another, narrowly avoiding the crushing teeth. Somewhere in the distance, you see a sliver of daylight, a way out. You push toward it, watches humming wildly. One last gear, one last jump. And then silence. You land on solid ground. You're standing on a cobblestone street again. Same city, different time. The fog has color now. Golden, almost warm. You hear laughter nearby. Faint music. The terror eases for a moment. Then you look at the nearest clock. It's moving backward, and you're the only one who notices. The backward ticking clock mocks you softly. The second hand moves in smooth reverse arcs, each click like a heartbeat rewinding. The people around you don't notice. A woman adjusts her hat. A child chases a hoop rolling the wrong direction. Even the wind seems to blow backward, carrying whispers you've already heard. You step onto the street, trying to steady your breath. The air smells faintly of soot, rain, and déjà vu. Somewhere behind you, church bells toll in reverse, unringing themselves into silence. You reach into your coat pocket. The cracked watch still glows, but faintly now, as though it's tired too. You turn it over in your palm, the words engraved on the back shift before your eyes. Return to the hour you left behind. Your reflection in the watch's glass doesn't quite match you. It blinks a second too late, smiles when you don't. You close it fast. A tram rolls past, sparks flying from its overhead lines. Its sign reads, "To nowhere, limited stops." You almost laugh. "Story of my life," you mutter. You walk aimlessly, boots echoing against stone. Each street feels familiar but wrong. Names slightly changed, angles distorted, colors a bit too vivid. Like someone repainted the world from memory. Then you notice it. Everyone you pass wears a faint shimmer. Not like light, but like static. Their outlines flicker slightly, resetting every few seconds. Time's trying to hold them in place, but it's losing grip. You stop at a fountain in the square. The water flows upward, droplets defying gravity, returning to the spout. In the reflection, your face looks the same, but the sky behind it burns a deep violet, streaked with fractured lightning that makes no sound. You whisper to yourself, "What did he mean the loop resets?" And as if on cue, the hum returns. Stronger now, coming not from your watch, but the ground beneath your feet. The cobblestones vibrate gently. Someone speaks behind you. You shouldn't be here. You turn. It's her, the woman from the alley, the one who told you to follow the fog. Same cloak, same piercing eyes, but now she carries an umbrella that drips upward. Raindrops rise from the ground, rejoining its tip like film played in reverse. "You followed it too far," she says, voice low, like velvet and smoke. Now the city's remembering itself, and you're caught in the middle. You take a cautious step closer. Who are you, really? She tilts her head. Depends on the century. Some called me the archivist. Others, the clock's conscience. Then you know how to fix this? A soft laugh. Fix? No, darling. Time doesn't break. It rephrases. You frown. Then what do I do? She walks around you slowly, eyes scanning like she's reading your timeline. That depends. Do you want to go back or go through? What's the difference? If you go back, you return to where the loop began, but lose everything you've learned. If you go through, you face what made it start. Most people choose back. Fewer survive through. You hesitate. Which one are you? She smiles faintly. I'm what happens when you stop choosing. The world flickers again. A tremor passes through the street. Glass rattles, horses rear, people freeze mid-step. The sky glitches, frame by frame. You hear a low hum spreading from every direction. The woman opens her umbrella wider. It shields you both in a dome of stillness. Outside it, reality stutters like an old film reel. Listen, she says quickly. They're coming. The agents. Again. I thought I left them below. You did. But down there was yesterday's tomorrow. This is today's yesterday. They never stop chasing. They just arrive late. Why me? Because you're the crack they can't seal, she says. You exist twice. Here and before. The watch tethered you when the collapse started. They need to erase you to heal the timeline. Then I'll fight them. She gives a sad smile. You already have. Every loop. You always say that. And every time you lose yourself a little more, your throat tightens. Then what's left of me now? She reaches out, brushing her gloved fingers against your temple. Enough. Thunder rolls above, but it's silent, just vibration without sound. The fog folds inward, becoming dense and silver. From within it, silhouettes emerge. Tall, faceless, cloaked in light. The agents. Their lanterns burn blue as frost. Wherever that light touches, the world smooths. Edges blur, movement slows, existence pauses. You grip the watch tighter. The hum matches your heartbeat now. The woman looks at you. They'll reach us in minutes. Choose. You stare at her. Back or through? She nods once. You think of the inventor, his eyes wild, his voice echoing. Time doesn't heal, it reuses. If you go back, you'll lose this memory, lose the meaning. But if you go through, maybe you finally end it. You take a breath. Through. Her eyes soften, then hold still. She presses the umbrella's handle into your chest. The air splits open like fabric tearing underwater. Light pours out, not bright, but deep, like falling into a star's memory. You feel yourself dissolve, not dying, not moving, just unbeing. The agents stop advancing. They lower their lanterns. One of them speaks, voice metallic, echoing from nowhere. Anomaly crossing boundary. Confirm containment failure. The woman whispers, go. And you fall, down, across, inward. Darkness, then a heartbeat, then sound, ticking. You open your eyes, you're in your old apartment. Dusty. Still. The same cracked mug on the table. The same half-written note. Meet me under the clock tower at dawn. Only now it's signed with your own handwriting, but dated tomorrow. You pick up the note. The ink's still wet. Outside, the city hums. Time moves. But not quite right. You lift your wrist. The cracked watch ticks forward again, but 1 second too slow. And for the first time, you realize it's waiting for you to catch up. The city doesn't sleep. It just changes the subject. At least that's what it feels like tonight. The rain has stopped, but the fog hasn't. It clings to your coat like something alive, coiling around your legs, tugging softly, as though it knows you by name. You walk without direction, following the faint hum that now seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The street lamps flicker in perfect rhythm to your pulse. Their light pulses. 1 beat late. And then you hear it. Someone whispers your name. You stop dead in the middle of the cobblestone street. The sound echoes off the fog like a skipping record. Again, your name. Not shouted, not called. Remembered. You turn, but there's no one there. Only the air moving like breath. Only the fog shifting in slow, deliberate curls. A shiver runs down your spine. All right, you mutter softly, trying to sound braver than you feel. Who's there? Nothing answers, but the city does something else. It exhales. Buildings sway imperceptibly. Windows ripple like the surface of a pond. For a moment, you see faces in the reflections. Victorian gentlemen in top hats, women with parasols, children in sailor suits, all staring at you, all whispering, all mouthing your name. You blink and they vanish. You start walking faster. The streets twist without warning, rearranging themselves with the sound of quiet gears turning beneath the ground. The alleys no longer lead where they should. The same lamppost appears again and again, like punctuation in a sentence that refuses to end. A carriage rolls past, but there's no horse, just the sound of hooves that aren't there. Inside the carriage sits a man in a bowler hat, reading a newspaper dated June 12th, 1897. Except that's the date you were born. You approach slowly. The man lowers his paper and smiles. A strange, knowing grin. His face looks familiar, but older. Running again? He asks. Do I know you? You whisper. Not yet. The carriage door shuts. When you blink, it's gone. Fog swallowing the sound, the space, the moment. You steady yourself against a lamppost. It's warm, humming. You look closer. Beneath the metal surface, faint symbols glow, tiny etchings, the same pattern that circles your pocket watch. Your fingers trace them, and the air ripples. You're no longer standing in the street. You're in a vast hall made of mirrors. Each one reflects a different version of London. Gaslit, electric lit, burning, underwater, futuristic, ruined. In every reflection, someone stands where you stand, holding the same watch, but not always you. Some look older, some younger. One has a scar you don't. Another wears your same coat, but their eyes are hollow, like they've been awake for 100 years. You step forward, hand trembling, and one reflection steps forward too, but the others don't. That one smiles. Finally, it says, and the glass melts away. You flinch back as the reflection steps out. Real, breathing, and wrong. Its voice is yours, but deeper. Don't fight it, he says. The loop needs a pivot. That's you. Who are you? You. The first you. The one who broke it. You shake your head. That's impossible. Scholars still argue whether paradoxes are born or made, he mutters, half smiling. But either way, someone always has to hold the hinge open. What hinge? He gestures upward. The mirrors are turning now, slowly rotating in the air. Each one shows time collapsing. Rivers running backward, cities unbuilding, suns freezing mid-rise. You did this, he says softly, trying to save one moment. One person. You didn't want her to die, remember? Your chest tightens. Her? He nods. The woman, the archivist. You thought she was trapped. You used the prototype. You can't finish the thought. He takes a step closer. Every loop, you forget. Every loop, you end up right here, hearing your name in the smoke. You're trying to warn yourself. You back away. Then how do I stop it? He shrugs. Maybe you don't. Maybe that's the point. The mirrors begin to crack. One by one, spiderwebbing into shards. Through each fracture, you see moments of your own life, but slightly wrong. Your childhood street flooded. Your mother older than she ever was. The city's skyline flickering between centuries. Your older self turns his gaze to you. Pity and exhaustion written across his face. You'll keep walking until the echoes die out, he says. They won't stop whispering your name until you accept what you've done. And what's that? He smiles sadly. You saved her by erasing her. Time had to balance the math. The mirrors shatter completely. You cover your face, but the shards don't cut. They pass through you like light. When you open your eyes again, you're back on the street. Alone. The fog is thicker now, almost solid. Shapes move within it. Half-formed figures of people you almost remember. They speak softly, overlapping. A chorus of voices, each one saying your name with a slightly different accent. A slightly different time period. You realize what they are. Your echoes. All the versions of you that tried something different. Some succeeded. Most failed. But all ended up here. The whispers grow louder. You drop to your knees, clutching the watch. It pulses in your palm like a living thing. You shout, "What do you want from me?" The fog answers, but not in words. Just feeling, regret, grief, recognition. It hits you like a memory snapping back into place. You remember the lab, the storm, the machine humming too loud, her voice begging you not to activate it. You remember the look on her face when she disappeared, and the moment you decided to go after her, no matter the cost. You stand again. The air vibrates. Somewhere far off, a clock tower begins to toll. 12 strokes, but the sound bends, each one longer, slower, as though time itself is stretching. The voices fade. The fog thins. In its place, one word remains, whispered directly into your ear. Tomorrow. You turn toward the sound, but there's no one. Only the faint outline of the woman's umbrella, left leaning against a wall, dripping upward. You pick it up. The watch ticks once, steady. The fog parts, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling downward beneath the street. At the top step, carved into stone, is a single phrase. Midnight knows what daylight hides. You take a breath and descend. The staircase feels alive beneath your boots, each step releasing a soft metallic sigh, like the breath of something ancient. The deeper you go, the colder it becomes. You count the steps to steady yourself. 30, 40, 50. Then you stop counting, because it feels like the numbers are starting to count you back. The light fades behind you until the only thing left is the dim glow from the cracks in your pocket watch. Its faint golden pulse paints the stone walls in trembling warmth. For a moment, you imagine you're walking through the veins of some enormous creature. London's heartbeat echoing around you, At the bottom, the tunnel opens into a vast chamber. It isn't Victorian. It's older, impossibly older. The air smells of rust, ozone, and memory. In the center stands a machine that looks like a cross between a cathedral organ and a grandfather clock. Its pipes and gears extending high into darkness. The whole thing hums softly, a note just below hearing vibrating in your bones. Someone stands beside it. An old man, coat black as soot, eyes bright and fevered. His hands are covered in brass dust, his hair a halo of static. He doesn't turn when you approach. "You took your time," he says quietly. Your throat goes dry. "You're the clockmaker." He chuckles under his breath. "They still call me that, do they?" You step closer. "You built it, didn't you? The watch, the machine." "I built the question," he says, finally turning. "The answers were accidents." You stare at the machine. Its face is a mess of spinning dials and mirrored glass. Through it, you can see distorted versions of yourself, blinking in and out of time. "Why does it do this?" you ask. "The loops, the echoes, the everything?" He walks slowly toward the machine, tracing its edges. It wasn't meant to move through time. It was meant to tune it. Tune? Time is a symphony, my dear anomaly. Every life, every second, just one note in an endless song. I tried to build an instrument to make it sound sweeter, but you can't tune something that's already perfect. So you broke it. He sighs. I played it, and when you play something eternal, it starts to listen back. You glance at the glowing watch in your hand. And this? Ah, he smiles sadly. That was your idea. You freeze. What? He nods. You came to me years ago, or maybe decades, depending on which version of you I'm talking to. You said the city was folding in on itself, that she was gone, and that I had to help you. You gave me the plans, said it was the only way to anchor yourself. That's impossible. Scholars still argue whether causality can form circles, he mutters, eyes flicking toward a spinning dial. But here you are, asking questions you once answered. You step closer to him. She, the archivist. What happened to her? His face softens. You loved her, didn't you? You hesitate. I don't even know anymore. He touches the machine gently. She entered it before it was ready. She thought she could contain the collapse, but the field didn't freeze her. It spread her across time. She became the echo, the fog, the voice in the gears. Every loop she tries to reach you. Every time, you hear her whisper your name. You swallow hard. Then how do I stop it? He looks at you with pity. Why do you always think you can? The machine groans. Its gears shift slowly, like something waking from sleep. The light from the watch grows stronger, pulsing in rhythm with the hum of the chamber. The old man steps back. It's reacting to you again, he says. It always does when you remember her. The air vibrates. Dust drifts upward in lazy spirals. You step closer, almost against your will. Can I bring her back? He laughs softly. You can't bring her back. You never left her. She's in there. In there? He points to the glass core of the machine. Inside, faint shapes swirl, human silhouettes made of smoke and starlight, folding and unfolding like sighs. You recognize her outline, the curve of her face, the umbrella, the way her fingers twitch, reaching out for something that isn't there. Dear God, you whisper. She's part of the rhythm now, he says. That's why the city whispers. It's her voice, stretched across centuries. You made her the melody. You take a step closer. The glass ripples at your touch. Then I can fix it. Fix it? His voice cracks. You've tried that too. It always ends here. I don't care. I'm doing it again. You'll kill her. She's already gone. He looks at you, eyes hollow. No, you are. The hum becomes a roar. The glass begins to glow, showing flashes of moments, streets, rain, laughter, lightning. The same moments you've seen before. The same lives you've already lived. You clutch the watch and it burns your palm. The crack in its surface widens. You see, for a heartbeat, her reflection inside it. Smiling, you whisper, "If you can hear me, I'm coming." And you press the watch against the machine. Light explodes outward. The old man screams something, but his words drown in the sound of eternity collapsing. You fall backward, suspended in brightness. The city, the machine, the man, all dissolve into streams of memory. You're weightless, soundless, infinite. You're weightless, soundless, infinite. Then a whisper, her whisper, threads through the chaos. You shouldn't have come back. You open your eyes. You're standing in the same workshop. The same machine hums quietly. But the old man is gone. The tools are untouched. The air is still. Only one difference. Her umbrella leans against the wall, and beside it, a teacup, still steaming. You take a shaky breath. The watch is silent now, its glow extinguished. On the wall above the machine, someone has carved words into the metal. Every clock needs a sacrifice. You don't know if you wrote it. You don't want to. Outside, a bell tolls 13 times. You don't remember when the sound begins. It's faint, like rain tapping on a tin roof, but sharper, precise, measured, and oddly rhythmic. You realize it's the echo of gears somewhere above you, inside the high tower of the old clockmaker's house. Each tick reverberates through your ribs, reminding you that time here doesn't belong to you. It never did. You lift your gaze. The staircase spirals upward into a haze of dust and soft light, each step older than the last. You can smell the brass oil and the faint sweetness of burning resin. The scent is calming, and yet it pulls something ancient from within you. You climb, slowly. With every footstep, your shadow lags just a little farther behind, as if the floor itself refuses to keep pace with your time. And there it is again, that whisper you can't locate, saying your name like a sigh escaping an hourglass. By the time you reach the final step, the world below feels distant. You stand before an enormous circular window overlooking the sleeping city. Beyond it, stars scatter like broken clock springs. And in the center of the room, there's an hourglass taller than you, its glass shimmering as though it's filled not with sand, but light. You take a step closer. Inside, the light seems to move both ways, falling and rising, collapsing and reforming. A paradox made visible. When you touch it, the surface ripples like water, and suddenly everything stops. The ticking, the breathing, the wind through the shutters, all of it held mid-air, mid-moment. You can see particles of dust suspended around you, each glowing softly like a captured star. Then, you hear the clockmaker's voice. Calm, almost affectionate. "You've reached the hinge," he murmurs. "The point where time folds back on itself. You turn." He stands there, his coat covered in fragments of gold dust, his eyes dim like two tired suns. "I told you," he says, "that the machine doesn't measure time. It remembers it. Every choice you've ever made, every version of you that walked away instead of forward, they all left fingerprints. The machine collects them." He gestures toward the hourglass, and when it fills, it rewinds. You stare at the glowing sandlight, realizing that every grain might be one of your moments. Falling, rising, being recycled endlessly. "Wait," you whisper, Rewinds. To what? He smiles, thin and unreadable. To the moment before regret. Your stomach twists. You think back. The letters, the abandoned street, the name you forgot, the face in the mirror that didn't match your memory. Maybe this was always the destination. Not forward, not backward. But again, the clockmaker steps closer, his hands trembling slightly. Scholars still argue, he says quietly, whether the concept of again exists in time or only in memory. But this device doesn't care what scholars think. It only obeys the one who listens. He looks at you, truly looks. And something inside your chest seems to hum in recognition. Tell me, he asks softly, what would you do differently if you could go back? Your lips part, but no sound comes. Every answer feels too heavy, too fragile. And then the hourglass trembles. The sands begin to rise faster, glowing brighter, spinning upward as though gravity itself has flipped. You can feel your pulse sinking to it. Fast, erratic, the air thickens, pressing against your skin like silk underwater. You need to choose, he warns. You can only relive what you truly remember. 1,000 images flash in your head. The narrow alley from Section 2. The broken watch on the ground in Section 3. The train in Section 5. The child's laughter in Section 6. All of it. Scenes that weren't supposed to connect. Now spinning around you like constellations snapping into pattern. The machine hums louder, and then, like a whisper, it says, choose the moment you wish to begin again. Your hand moves before your mind does. You reach into the hourglass. The instant your fingers touch the light, everything folds inward. Sound, light, gravity. And you're falling through a tunnel of mirrors. Each reflection shows you living a different life. In one, you stayed. In another, you never found this city. In another still, you never looked back when someone called your name. And there's one reflection that holds your gaze. The one where you never forgot yourself. That's the one you reach for. When you emerge, it's raining. You're standing outside a cafe you recognize from the first night. The same neon flicker, the same hum of a faraway streetlight. Except this time you remember the name of the song playing inside. And you remember that the stranger by the window, the one reading a weathered journal, is you. You step closer to the glass, watching yourself laugh softly at something you just read. You knock on the window. The version of you inside looks up, startled, then smiles faintly, like déjà vu catching up. The rain softens. The cafe light spills warm across your face. You realize the machine didn't rewind you to the past. It simply aligned all your versions into one endless present. You stand there, breathing. For once, time doesn't chase you. It just is. A faint hum fills the air again. But this time, it's not the machine. It's your heartbeat sinking to something quieter, something truer. And somewhere far above the city, the clockmaker's tower light fades out. One final tick echoing into silence. Because maybe the real reversal isn't about going back at all. Maybe it's about learning to stay. The rain has stopped. You stand in the middle of the street, the scent of wet asphalt and old jasmine drifting through the air. The city around you is motionless, like a photograph still damp from the darkroom. The lights hum softly. A cat darts across the alley, leaving tiny silver footprints in a puddle. You blink, and the version of yourself in the cafe is gone. Or maybe you're both here now, folded into one memory. The glass still holds your reflection, but this time you don't look like a visitor. You look like someone arrived. The hum of time is quieter now, as if the machine itself has gone to sleep. The clockmaker's tower is only a shadow in the distance. And for the first time in what feels like centuries, there's no ticking following you. You breathe. It's a strange, weightless kind of peace. The kind that doesn't demand understanding. You just exist, between 2 seconds that refuse to touch. A street lamp flickers nearby. You wander toward it, shoes whispering over the wet pavement. The reflection of the light bends in the puddles like melted gold. Somewhere, a train horn echoes faintly. A callback from Section 5. The sound stretching across time, reminding you how far you've come. You laugh quietly. You probably won't survive this, you whisper to yourself, echoing that cheeky line from the intro. But you did, somehow. You wander aimlessly now, through streets that seem to shift each time you blink. A bridge you've never crossed before, a familiar shop with a new name, a park where the swings move though no wind blows. The world feels rewritten, softer at the edges. A memory surfaces, the clockmaker's words. The machine doesn't measure time, it remembers it. Maybe this is what it means, not to travel backward, but to finally hold everything at once. Every moment you loved, every mistake you made peace with, every heartbeat that went unnoticed until now. You pass a mural painted on an old wall, a spiral of constellations fading with the weather. In the center a phrase, "Time is only the echo of your choices." You reach out, tracing the chipped paint with your fingers. The words feel warm, alive. Scholars still argue whether time is linear, circular, or a myth built from perception. But standing here, under this trembling streetlight, you understand something simpler. Maybe time isn't a structure at all. Maybe it's a voice. And tonight it's whispering only to you. The air grows lighter. The first hint of dawn brushes the skyline, pale blue bleeding into gold. You can hear birds testing the morning, tentative, unsure if it's safe to sing yet. You sit on the curb, close your eyes, and listen to the city waking. A hum of electricity, a door creaking open somewhere, the quiet sigh of the world starting over. Your palms are empty now, but you can still feel the echo of that glowing hourglass. The warmth, the motion, the way it reflected your heartbeat. You realize you never left it behind. It's inside you. It always was. The wind moves gently through your hair, cool and patient. You let yourself smile. The kind of smile that doesn't need a reason. For a brief moment, the city shimmers, the same soft shimmer you saw inside the machine. And you understand that every version of you, across every possible hour, is watching this sunrise too. You whisper into the light, "Thank you." No answer comes, and none is needed. Time exhales, the hum fades, and in that silence, you finally rest. The clockmaker's voice drifts faintly, as if from another world. "It's dawn," he says. You made it. You open your eyes to find the horizon blooming. The gold spills across your skin, soft and slow. Every street, every window, every reflection glows with the same quiet truth. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You tilt your head back, letting the warmth soak into your face. The night is gone. The ticking has stopped. There's no before or after, only this, and you in it. You're still here. The story's faded, but the quiet remains. That gentle, steady heartbeat of a city between dreams and daylight. You can almost feel it under your palms. A rhythm that says, you're safe now. Let the last of the rain evaporate. Let the hum of the fan mix with the soft pulse in your ears. You've walked through time tonight. Through mirrors and memory. Through versions of yourself that never quite stopped wandering. But now, you've come home. It doesn't matter where you are, your room, your bed, your tiny corner of the world, because everything you needed to return to has already found you. The machine, the clockmaker, the hourglass. They've gone quiet. They've done their job. All that's left is you, breathing, still, here. So, if you're still awake, don't rush to move. Just stay like this. Soft light, steady air, the last echo of the story, dissolving into calm. Let your body remember what peace feels like. And as the first true morning light filters through your window, whisper it to yourself. I made it. Then, when you're ready, sleep.